This is a Forex Preview here at XM.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cristina Marujos. With me today is investment analyst Cristina Parthenido. We'll be having a look at the only central bank meeting this week, and that is, of course, of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. It meets on Wednesday, and the discussion is not whether we'll see a third rate hike, but rather if that will be a 50 basis points one. What do you think policymakers will signal this week, Cristina, especially regarding future rate hikes?
Hi, Christina. That's right. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand has been the first major central bank to stop its quantitative easing program and start the rate hike cycle. And investors are currently fully convinced that it will announce another rate increase this Wednesday, given the rising inflation, which peaked at a 3-decade high in the last quarter of 2021, while also considering the upside surprise in the US, the UK, and the Eurozone CPI inflation figures in the first months of 2022. There is a high probability that New Zealand's quarterly price growth data will follow the global trend to the upside in the first quarter. Moreover, the unemployment rate has interestingly diminished to a record low of 3.2%, which is looking, of course, quite positive for the economy. But the truth is that there was a percentage of migrant workers who left the country during the lockdown phases, and the economy had been also shut to foreigners for some period. So that has probably affected the unemployment rate and caused labor shortages. And obviously, it's a reason why businesses have started to provide higher wages to attract some workers back. And apparently that could further boost inflation if businesses transfer the extra cost to consumers. So overall, the central bank could well justify another rate hike. But whether it will be a 50 basis point rate hike, as some investors believe, well, I'm not very confident on that because the economy itself has been showing signs of weakness, which may feed some caution within the central bank. First, the latest GDP data from the third quarter came in negative. Well, perhaps those are outdated, but evidence from the first months of 2022 are not bright either. Retail sales return to the negative area, and business confidence, as shown in the central bank's survey, further plunged in the negative area. Of course, the high dairy prices came to support farmers, but the extra cash was mainly used for debt repayment instead of reinvestment into business, which is a discouraging sign for future production. I think the central bank cannot ignore those discouraging economic signs, and I think it will avoid any aggressive rate increases, sticking to its 25 basis point rate hike path, which could raise rates up to 1% this week.
And taking this into account, how could the Kiwi move on the policy decision?
Well, as we said, a 25 basis point rate hike is already fully priced in. So the announcement itself will not be new information to traders and could even be a selling the fat case, which may pressure the Kiwi back to the downside. Well, the New Zealand dollar is one of the worst performing currencies this year, being down by more than 2% when compared to the US dollar. And perhaps that's because the Fed and other central banks have already started to catch up with the rate hike cycle, while the rate expectations for the RBNZ are already high at 6 rate increases this year, which practically is translated to one rate hike per meeting, and there's scope for more aggressive 50 basis point rate hike, which I think will not happen this week since no other major central bank has done it so far. In other words, there's a lot of hawkish information already priced in the Kiwi, so that means that there's nothing extra to boost the Kiwi at the moment, unless the central bank uses its communication to brighten the future of the economy, saying at the same time that perhaps a faster monetary tightening or faster rate increases, more aggressive rate increases could be among the options to pause inflation from hitting further in the future. I think that could be the trigger for another bullish round in Kiwi dollar, and traders will be eagerly looking for a clear break above the 0.6730 resistance, which is under examination at the moment, to move towards the next barrier at 0.6790 and 0.68. Otherwise, if the central bank follows market expectations and sounds more conservative as regards its future policy changes, then Kiwi dollar could return to the downside to test the 0.6640 support and then the crucial 0.66 number.
Cristina, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching this Forex Preview on the Reserve Bank of New Zealand policy meeting coming up on Wednesday here at XM.com.